نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم أما بعد. So this next class every day, Monday through Friday, bi-idhnillah, at 6:30, inshallah, after the qira'ah of the Quran. We're going to do this class that we called it La Taf'al. La Taf'al. Akhi Ibrahim, what is the translation if someone said to you, La Taf'al? La Taf'al. La Taf'al dhalika. What is La Taf'al? You.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Did you know that? So this class is La Taf'al. So we're going to talk in this class about the many things that we shouldn't do while fasting, especially in the month of Ramadan. And there are many things people don't even have an idea. They don't even have a clue. That's if we want to get the best and the most out of the sawm. But before doing it, I just want you to know when we tell you the things that come from the Kitab and the Sunnah, the things La Taf'al, they are either haram or they are makruh. Now it's important for the Muslim to know what is the meaning of haram and what is the technical meaning of makruh. And haram is the thing that Allah has prohibited. Those things that are haram, they are prohibited, that you can't do. Things like uquq al-walidain, being disrespectful to your parents is haram. Like murder is haram. Like drinking khamr, haram. So there are many things that Allah Azza wa Jalla has made haram. And concerning the haram things, the Muslim has to avoid them. Haram. The technical meaning of the haram is that thing, if a person leaves it, he'll get rewarded. This thing is haram. So if a person leaves that thing, he'll get rewarded. And if he doesn't and falls into it, he may get punished. He's opening himself up for punishment. That's the meaning of haram. And haram is the opposite of wajib. Wajib is that thing that if you do it, you get rewarded. And if you leave it alone, you're sinning, you're punished. Haram is the opposite. It's that thing, if you leave it, you will get rewarded. And if you do it, you'll punish. So you remember that. Wajib is the opposite of haram. What is wajib? It's that thing you must do. Haram, the thing you can't do. What's the meaning of wajib? It's that thing, if you do it, you get a reward. And if you abandon it, you get a punishment. Give me an example of wajib.
Fasting in Ramadan.
Fasting in Ramadan. And haram is the opposite, Ibrahim. Wajib is the thing. If you do it, wajib, you get reward. And if you abandon it, you're sinning. So what is haram?
Haram.
It's the opposite of wajib.
An example.
No. If wajib is the thing, if you do it, wajib, you get reward. If you leave it, you're sinning. So what's the opposite of that?
So if you do it, you get punished. And if you leave it, you get rewarded.
Good job. You guys get that?
Yeah.
So wajib, fard, wajib is the opposite of haram. Alright? So as it relates to the haram, they have a lot of names connected. From the names of haram is ma'siyah. You heard of that name, that word before, ma'siyah? Ma'siyah is a sin. Ma'siyah, dhanb. You heard of the word dhanb before? Dhanub, dhanb, to make sins. And mahzur, But you just stick to this thing about haram. That's it. Because you can say that's ma'siyah, meaning it's haram. That's a dham from the dhanub, meaning it's haram. That's mahdhur. You should avoid that. So it's that simple and that easy. So this class, la taf'al, is going to be talking about things that are haram to do. If you do it, you're sinning. If you abandon it, you get reward. The second thing I have to mention about this upcoming class is the makruh. We're going to talk about the makruh as well. Do you know what makruh is? What?
There is something that it's better if you don't do, but if you do it, you don't get punished for it.
Do you have another definition? Makruh. That's makruh.
So my understanding is disliked.
Yes. What you said is correct, but in one word, it's the thing that's disliked. That's makruh. Don't do it. It's makruh. So makruh is the thing that the religion say you should leave this thing, like haram. You should leave it, the religion said. But the religion didn't put shiddah on leaving it the way it did on haram. You should leave zina. You should leave khamr. You should leave uquq al-walidain. You should leave gambling. You should leave shirk. You should leave magic. The religion said, don't do that. But for makruh, the religion said, avoid this thing. It's better that you avoid it. But it didn't say, don't do it like that, with jazm. You guys with me so far? An example of what's makruh is eating onions and coming to the masjid. Is it permissible to eat onions? Yes. Is it haram to eat onions? No. But to come to the masjid after eating onions is disliked because of the smell that emanates from a person's body. Another example of what is makruh is sleeping before Salat al-Isha. Why is that makruh? Sleeping before Isha. The last prayer is Isha. After making Maghrib, you shouldn't go to sleep. Is it haram to go to sleep after Maghrib? No. But it's makruh, it's disliked. Why is it disliked?
Is it because you might miss?
Exactly. You may stay asleep and then you don't wake up to Fajr time. But is it haram if someone wants to sleep after Maghrib? Can he sleep after Maghrib? He can't sleep after Maghrib. But it's disliked. Give me an example of something that's disliked. What about you?
Talking after Salat al-Isha.
Talking after Salat al-Isha unnecessarily. Just to be staying up late. You could stay up all the way to Fajr. But is that haram? No, it ain't haram. But is it makruh? Yeah. Why is it makruh? You're wasting time. You need sleep. You need rest. Give me an example of something that's disliked in the religion.
You say maybe growing a moustache or cutting your beard or something.
Say that again.
Like maybe growing the moustache, growing the beard. I mean, leaving out the beard.
Cutting your beard off?
Yeah.
Is it disliked?
No, like fully like.
Nah, man. Touching your beard is haram. The religion said don't do that. Yes.
Fasting on Fridays by itself.
Yes. Fasting like we mentioned earlier. Good job, brother. All right, now we're going to go to the next one, inshallah. We're going to go to the next one. The next one is, this is really important, guys. So what's the ruling and the meaning of makruh? Makruh is that thing that if you leave it, you get a reward. But if you do it, you're not sinning. Wajib, if you do it, you get a reward. If you leave it, you're sinning. Haram, if you do it, you're sinning. If you leave it, you get a reward. Makruh, if you leave it, you get a reward. But if you do it, you're not sinning. It's disliked. And all of those examples. Tomorrow, inshallah, I want you to bring 3 examples of what's makruh. And you bring 3 examples. And you bring 3 examples. And try to be cutting edge. Try to come up with things that nobody else is going to come up with to the best of your ability. Now this last point we want to make about haram and halal. Haram and makruh. Because this class is la taf'al. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Abu Hurairah said that the Prophet said to his companion sallallahu alayhi wasallam, "Ma nahaytukum anhu fajtanibuh, wa ma amartukum bihi fa'tu minhu mastata'tum. فإنما هلك من كان قبلكم كثرة سؤالهم واختلافهم على أنبيائهم." Listen to this hadith, it's really important. He says, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, whatever I told you not to do, whatever I prohibited you from doing, then leave it altogether. And whatever I told you to do as much of it as you possibly can. Get this is important, man. You got to get this as a Muslim. This is one of those beneficial pieces of knowledge that you have to remember as a Muslim. The hadith said, whatever I told you, whatever I prohibited you from, leave it all, leave it. And what I told you to do as much of it as you possibly can. Because the Ahlul Kitab, they went astray because they asked a lot of unnecessary questions to their prophets and because they went against what he said. Now this is important. Whatever I told you not to do, leave it all alone. And the reason for that is, whatever Allah made haram, you have the ability to avoid it. Anything that's haram, it's easy to avoid it. You have the ability. So whatever I prohibited you from, don't do all of it. But then he said, but whatever I told you to do as much as you possibly can. He didn't say do all of it. Can you do everything that we've been ordered to do?
Yeah.
No. We can't do everything that we've been told to do. For an example, we've been told to make Hajj. We've been told to make Umrah. We've been told to visit the poor. We've been told to visit the sick. We've been told to give sadaqah. We've been told to read the Quran. We've been told to make dhikr. We've been told to make qiyam al-layl at the nighttime. There are a lot of things. If you try to do everything, you're going to be overwhelmed. A man came to say, Ya Rasulullah, the wajib things of Islam are many, they overwhelm me. So tell me one thing that I can do. He said, keep your tongue wet with the dhikr of Allah. There's a lot to do. So in one day, if you and me, if we try to do everything that Allah told us to do, by the time Maghrib comes, we won't pray in the masjid, we'll be tired. Because what are some of the things you've been told to do? Give me one.
Praying witr.
Praying witr. Give me another thing.
We've already said it will make Hajj.
So many things. Do this, do that. So if a person tried to do everything every day, he'll be overwhelmed. And that's why he said, what I ordered you to do as much of it as you possibly can. For an example, let's just make believe Rasulullah said, carry this up Chapel Town Road. You'll be able to carry it so many steps, but you may not get to Chapel Town Road. And that's what he told you to do. So you do as much as you can. You'll be able to carry it, but you won't be able to carry it all. Everybody will be able to do a certain point, but nobody can do everything. Nobody. But when it comes to haram, everybody has the ability. Prophet Muhammad said, leave this alone, it's haram. All you gotta do is don't pick it up. All you have to do is don't come to it. Any and everything that is haram, you have the ability to leave it. Everything. Now sometimes in life, you're forced to do things, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about generally speaking. So let's just take, you mentioned the beard. The Prophet said, don't touch your beard. Do you have the ability to leave it? And it's easy, just don't do it. Just don't do it. But he told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, go visit the sick. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. I work, I can't go visit the sick. I'm sick right now, I can't go visit the sick. So you guys gotta remember this. When it comes to la taf'al, don't do this, we have the ability to do it. But when the Prophet said, do this or do this, do as much of it as you can, whatever it is. You cannot do everything. So do as much as you can. But when the haram, everybody has the ability to stop the haram. Everybody. Don't drink khamr. Do we have the ability right now not to drink khamr? Nobody, your hand doesn't go, your hand doesn't do that. And that's why Shaitan said in the Quran, Allah promised you, and I promised you the truth, and I promised you falsehood, and you listen to me. I don't have any control over you. Shaitan can't make anybody roll up a spliff and then get a match and light the spliff and start smoking. Shaitan can't make you. He can just do wiswas. Go get that spliff. Go get that spliff. He make wiswas. And that happened 3 times. The man prayed quickly again, came back. He said, go back and pray. You didn't pray. He went back, he prayed quickly. But the good thing about this companion, may Allah be pleased with him, is he had no problem with trying to learn. He had no problem. He went after the 3rd time, he said, Ya Rasulullah, this is the salat that I know. Alim, teach me. So the Prophet proceeded to tell him how to pray, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He told the man, if you want to pray, make a good wudu. And after the wudu, face the qibla. After that, say Allahu Akbar. And then read what's easy for you from the Quran. And then say Allahu Akbar. And then go into the bowing. And he went through that whole prayer and told the man, calm down and take it easy when you're bowing and when you're making sajda and when you're standing up. Now the point here in this hadith and this incident is, he said, go back and pray because you didn't pray. That's many people. It could be said, go back and fast because you didn't fast. Go back and make umrah because you didn't make umrah. Go back and make hajj because you didn't make hajj. Go back and wear hijab because you were not wearing hijab, and on and on and on and on. So what we don't want to do is, we don't want to come Yawm al-Qiyamah and our efforts are nothing. As Allah mentioned in the Quran, وَقَدِّمْنَا إِلَى مَا عَمِلُوا مِنْ عَمَلٍ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ هَبَاءً مَنْثُورًا. Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah will take the deeds of the people that they did in the dunya, and He will make them scattered particles like dust. It wouldn't be any benefit. قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. Shall I not tell you? Tell them, Ya Muhammad, shall I not tell you? The people who will be the biggest losers, Yawm al-Qiyamah, the biggest losers, are the people in the dunya. They thought they were doing good. They thought they were doing good. But then Yawm al-Qiyamah, they'll come nothing. As Allah mentioned in the Quran, فَلَا نُقِيمُ لَهُمْ يَوْمُ الْقِيَامَةِ وَزْنًا. We won't give them any weight for what they did. And there are many ayat of the Quran that are like that, to let the people know. You don't want to be like those Yahud and the Nasara. Umar radiallahu anhu, when he went and he took the key of Bayt al-Maqdis, there was a monk over there praying, fasting. And Umar read the ayat from the Quran, هَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ الْغَاشِيَةِ وُجُوهٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ خَاشِيَةٌ عَامِلَةٌ نَاصِبَةٌ عَامِلَةٌ نَاصِبَةٌ. In that ayat that the Prophet used to read on Friday, he described that people will come Yawm al-Qiyamah because they made themselves tired. We have fatigue in their bodies and their faces. But Yawm al-Qiyamah is going to be nothing, zero, because they didn't do it right, or they made shirk in that thing. So we have to do things the right way. Everything. You have to get married the right way. You have to get divorced the right way. It has to be done the right way. So inshallah, we'll do a few issues concerning the Sawm of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The first thing I want to begin with is this whole issue about what is fasting in Al-Islam. Concerning this word Sawm, which is in the words, in the language of all Muslims. There's certain words that enter into all our languages from the Arabic language. Every language has the word Salat in it. Every language, I speak English. You say to an English-speaking Muslim, did you make Salat? Everybody knows, because it's one of those powerful, important words. Everybody heard of the word. Everybody heard of the word in Arabic, Hajj. Those words have a meaning. Everybody heard of the word dua. Dua has a meaning. Everybody heard of the word hijab. All of those words have a linguistic meaning and a religious meaning. So the word som, this som that we're doing, som means to abandon, to leave stuff. That's what som means in the language. In the language, the Arabs use that word. And one of the examples of that is in the Quran with Maryam. When the angel came to her to tell her she was going to have a baby and she had never been married, it's going to be an ayat, a mu'jiza. Allah Ta'ala told her to avoid the people and everything. And it was said to her, and she said, فَقُولِي إِنِّي نَذَرْتُ لِلرَّحْمَنِ صَوْمًا. She said, I made an oath that I'm going to fast, a som, but that doesn't mean fast, not eating. She said, I'm going to make a som, meaning I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm going to stop talking. I won't talk to anyone. So the fact that she stopped speaking, that stopping is som. That's som, to stop doing something, to leave something, linguistically. As for religiously, som is to abandon those things that Allah told you to abandon, from those things that will make your fast null and void. Food, drink, sexual relationships, and other things as well. So that's the technical meaning of it. There are two pillars of fasting that are very important. Without these two pillars, you don't have a fast. And what is the pillar? The pillar is that ruknu shay al-aqwa. It's that thing that the thing is built upon. The pillar of something, like the 5 pillars of Al-Islam. The shahadatain, the salat, the zakat, the sawm, and hajj. The 6 pillars of al-iman. Believing in Allah, the malaika, His books, the prophets, Yawm al-Qiyamah, and the qadr, the good of it and the evil of it. So this fasting, it has pillars. And there are 2. Very simple, very easy. The first pillar is the pillar of your niyyah, that you have to intend to fast. And the Prophet, and will come to this, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned an authentic hadith, whoever doesn't make his intention in the nighttime, then he doesn't have a fast the next day. We'll explain that as we get to inshallah. So ideally, everybody should speak to himself, and he says to himself, not out loud, he intends in his heart and his mind, I intend to fast tomorrow. Because what had happened was, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would get up and he would be hungry. He would ask his family, do we have anything to eat today? They say, no, we have nothing. That's how poor they were. He said, okay, then I'm going to fast. And then he would fast for the rest of the day. But you can only do that for the sunnah fast. As for the fast that's wajib, you have to make your niyyah the night before. So the first rukn is the niyyah. The second rukn is that you have to avoid those things that are haram, that will make your sawm fasid. You have to stay away from having relationships, drinking water, and meat eating. There are other things we should stay away from. But if you fall into those things, they're haram. But these things you have to stay away from. Drinking intentionally, water, food, and having relationships. So those are the 2 pillars. Now we come to the benefits of fasting. There are many. We won't spend a lot of time for that. At the top of the list from the benefits of fasting is that Allah Azza wa Jalla created us for these types of issues. He created us in order to worship Him. That's why we're here. We're not here for any other reason other than to worship Allah, and sawm is ibadah. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْإِنسَ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ. I only created them so that they will worship me. So this is from the best ibadat of Al-Islam. Another benefit is what the Quran mentioned, is so that we'll learn how to fear Allah. We'll learn taqwa. There's no one here who's fasting right now except that he's a better person in Ramadan than he is outside of Ramadan. Everybody here. If someone wants to say a joke and he knows he's lying and he wants to say a joke to make people laugh while he's fasting, he won't do it. If someone wants to swear a curse, he'll realize this goes against fasting and he won't do it. So the ayat of the Quran told us why we fast. كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So you'll get taqwa. It makes you a better person, a better Muslim. If a person doesn't become a better Muslim while he's fasting, something's wrong. Because when Ramadan comes, especially Ramadan, the doors of Jannah open and the doors of the hellfire are closed and the shayateen are tied up. Which shayateen? The big ones, the bad ones, the terrible ones. As for the other little shayateen, they're still running around. But the big ones, like the ifrit and those tough ones like that. So the point here is, fasting teaches us this issue of being better people. And we don't fast just to leave off those things. We fast to become better people. Another benefit in their meaning is from the benefits of fast is that it teaches us how to be patient. So I don't think anyone got hungry yet before Maghrib. This is our third day of fasting. The first day was Saturday. Saturday when you fast, did anybody get hungry before Maghrib? Was anybody hungry?
Yes.
You what? So if you didn't take sahur, maybe you got hungry. But you know, everybody's pumped up, everybody's ready to go. Second day, no one got hungry. Third day, no one got hungry. But there will be those days where as Maghrib comes after Asr, you start getting hungry, even at Dhuhr time. But the person, he remains patient with sabr, and that teaches them that you have the ability to be patient. Some of you are not married, you have to be patient. Some of you are having children, some of us have children, they are challenged, you have to be patient. Some of you have wives, husband, challenged, you have to be patient. We have to have sabr. This is one of the main lessons of fasting, to have sabr. Another lesson, ikhwani, is fasting helps you to be disciplined. Fasting helps you to avoid sins. This is why the Prophet told the young men, Ya ma'ashir al-shabab man istata'a minkum al-ba'a falyatazawwaj. Anyone who can get married if you have the money. If you don't have the money, then fast. Because fast will take down your shahwa, will make your desires low. It's from the benefits of it. That's from the benefits of fasting. Lastly, and there are many, from the benefits of fasting is the fact that we get a feeling for what people who are lesser advantaged than we are, what they have to go through all the time. So there are people who are always fasting in our community. Many of them live where we come from in Africa. Many of them live in even the Arab world. They live all over the world. But we also have those people here who are hungry. In Europe, they are hungry. So when you fast, you learn how to feel for other people, especially young people. Abdurrahman, Amir, Mujib, Muhammad, Khalid. We're living in a society right now, me, myself, and I. Me, I want to go first. Me. I was sitting with my sons at a walima. My sons were young, and there were older people at the table. When they brought the food at the round table, the kids were the first ones to go into the food, as opposed to having sabr and patience and adab and tartib to wait until the older people ate out of respect. They just forgot themselves because the food was there, and that's what fasting teaches you. Take it easy. If I'm hungry, there are people who are always hungry. Always hungry. So it should increase our brotherhood, especially when we know there are people who are poor in our community, or people who are even non-Muslims. We should be grateful to Allah Azza wa Jalla that He has given us food. Another thing is, you know, when we eat, a lot of us, we eat and we don't say Bismillah. We just eat. And then after finish eating, we don't make shukr to Allah. We don't thank Allah. Fasting teaches you to be a person who is shakir, grateful, thankful for what Allah gave you. Because you went through that whole day not eating. And then when it's actually time to eat and you eat it, it has a different meaning because you couldn't wait for that moment. And when you break your fast as well, and you eat and you finish, you make that dua. So all of those are lessons from fasting. It's just not about not eating, not drinking, and just not having relationships. Next point that we want to mention, Khwani, is what are the types of fasts? There are many types of fast in Islam. Now listen, it's important. There are many types of fast that you should know about. There is the fast that is wajib, like this fast of Ramadan. It's wajib. You have to fast if you have the ability. The second type of fast is the second type of wajib fast is like when you take an oath or another. Like if a person says, if Allah blesses me with this job, I'm going to fast 5 days out of this month. Normally fasting those 5 days, they're not an obligation. But if you make it on yourself an obligation, you should do it. It's wajib. So that's the first type of fast. The fast that is wajib. The second type of fast is the fast that is mustahab. It is highly recommended. Highly recommended, but it's not wajib. And from that is when you fast the 6 days of Shawwal after Ramadan. It's not wajib. Fasting on the day of Ashura, the 10th day of Haram. Fasting on the day of Arafah. If you did not go to Hajj, fasting on the day of Arafah. From them is fasting on the 3 white days, 13, 14, 15 of the month, the Ayam al-Bid, those 3 days. Highly recommended. If you fast those 3 days, you'll get the reward of fasting the whole month because the Hasana is with 10. And lastly, an example of a fast that is highly recommended is when you fast every Monday and every Thursday. So those fasts are mustahab, not wajib. If you start fasting them and you break your fast, you're not sinning. The third type of fast is the fast that is haram. You can't fast that fast. It's haram. You should avoid it altogether. Like the fast that is called al-wisal. Prophet ﷺ used to fast days consecutively without breaking his fast, without eating anything. He would fast Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, without eating anything. And when his companions saw that, his companions, they started doing it. And the Prophet didn't know that they were doing it, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He didn't know that they were doing it. And then he found out, and he said, what are you doing? They said, Ya Rasulullah, you do it, so we wanted to do it. He told them, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, lastu kahayatikum, inni ubit, fayut'imani rabbi wa yusqini. He said, don't do that. I'm not like you people. I'm not like you people. He said, when I go to sleep at night, Allah gives me food and Allah gives me drink. So when he was fasting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he was fasting without any food, without anything to drink because Allah was giving him that. So he told his companions, don't do that. So there are sunnahs that he did that are only for him. They are called his khasa'is. For an example, he got married to more than 4 women at the same time. No one can do that sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ married a woman, one of his wives, without witnesses and without the wali. No one else can do that. So there are sunnahs that are only for him. He did that thing, but it's not for anybody else. So that's the fast that is haram. So we have the fast that's wajib. The fast that is highly recommended, mustahab. And then we have the fast that is haram. And that is the fast that you cannot do it. It's haram. Don't do it. Don't fast continuously. Also, we have the fast of the Eid. You can't fast on the day of the Eid. You cannot fast on the day of the Eid. It's haram. If a person does that, he's sinning. Because the Eid is a day of eating and drinking and being happy. Also, you can't fast on the day of doubt, the day of shak. So the other day, Friday, we were expecting to fast on Friday or Saturday. The person can't say, okay, I'm going to fast just in case a day before. Whoever does that, he disobeyed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Lastly, the fast that is disliked is the fast that is disliked. It's disliked for you to fast on Friday or Saturday just by itself. If you fast Friday by itself, that's disliked. Some of the scholars said it's haram. And if you fast Saturday by itself, that is disliked. Some of the scholars say it's haram. Haram. There's a hadith where he says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, la tasumu yawm al-sabt illa fima ufturida alaykum. Don't fast on Saturday except what is wajib. So a person who fasts Friday because he's off of work, he shouldn't do it. He fasts Friday because it's the best day, he shouldn't do it. Or he's going to fast Saturday because he doesn't have work, he shouldn't do it. Rasulullah says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you want to fast on Friday or Saturday, if you fast on Friday, you should fast a day before or a day after. So if you choose Friday, you should fast Thursday and Friday. If you choose Friday, you should fast Friday and Saturday. And if you fast Saturday, you should fast Friday and Saturday or Saturday and Sunday. You guys got that? So that fast is disliked in the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is just the introduction. There's a lot more to come concerning the fast in Al-Islam. But that's just the introduction. So now we're going to give you a few minutes break, inshallah, a few minutes break. And then we're going to do the tilawah with the sheikh.
Inshallah, continue. I don't know. Just starting this. Yeah. It's starting. Yes.
But you don't want to do the dars, sheikh?
No, no break. Just starting. Yes, tilawah.
Oh, just starting.
Yeah, it's no
Okay,
break.
okay. And then we'll begin that tilawah with the sheikh, inshallah.
جزاك الله. سبحانك اللهم ربنا الحمد استغفرك.
غرباء